The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything
I'd do something like that.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Why would I do something like that? They don't even make no. There are rumors circulating among his peers and coworkers that Steve Harvey is going through a really trying time right now. Instead of giving in, they'll confront him and draw attention to his habitually troubling behavior. So just what is going on here? First of all, there's no getting over Cat Williams' belief that Steve Harvey is Aish's man hiding a lot of secrets. First off, there have been ongoing claims that the well-known ripcracker with a mustachio beard treats his staff like garbage. Harvey is reported to have written a shocking letter to his new staff asking for things that are typically given to tour visitors. After moving his talk show to Los Angeles, there won't be any meetings or people dropping by my dressing room. Please wait before going inside my dressing room. Could you please don't open the door to my dressing room? The Chicago writer Robert F. managed to obtain a note from Harvey in May 2017 that said, "If you open my door, expect to be removed." It continued by stating, "My security team will prevent anyone who intends to see or speak with me from standing at my door. Now kindly put an end to your ambush. This also applies to TV staff members. You must schedule a meeting." Harvey went on to say that he hoped to spend more time with me throughout the day and that the message was meant to mend the lenient pen door policy he had allowed himself for the duration of his Chicago show. He reiterated that defense a few days later when discussing the leaked letter with Entertainment Tonight. "I'm in my makeup chair. They walk in the room. I'm heading to lunch. They come in. They don't plow through doors. I'm in the hallway. My friends who attend the show frequently approach me and want to sign and finish things I said. Give it a minute, and in retrospect, there were a couple things I could have done a little differently. And it seems Williams has good reason to hate Harvey. In November 2015, the author of Think Like a Man filed a lawsuit stating that he had decided against renting a private jet after learning that he had lost more than $400,000, according to TMZ. Among the requests included installing new sidewalls in the upper and lower cabins, having a distinctive carpet, and reducing the internal cabin's 16 seats to 14. About a year after the disagreement was settled, Harvey sued the Federal Aviation Title Company again, this time alleging he was entitled to the $250,000 he had put in escrow to rent the private jet. He got the money right away after the company failed to respond to his complaint. Furthermore, Cat Williams made headlines lately for his in-depth interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Shay Shay Podcast. As if that weren't enough, Steve Harvey was among the elites that Williams exposed on the Steve Harvey Show. Williams made a suggestion that Steve Harvey had appropriated Mark Curry's character Matt Art Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Additionally, he asserted that Harvey's only career options are sitcoms like Family Feud because he will never be able to earn a substantial sum of money acting in motion picture. "Why aren't you a movie star?" you ask them. "I didn't want to be a movie star," Williams declared. Bernie MC detested this exact finale. For the same reason, every year, 30,000 fresh screenplay entries are received by Hollywood. None of them requested a black man with a speech impediment and a countenance resembling Mr. Potato Head. There isn't any range is a must. Meanwhile, Ed Lover seems to back up Cat Williams' claims on Steve Harvey and his problems with Bernie Mac in a recent episode of his Come On Son podcast, which aired on January 5. The well-known DJ backed Williams' story. Williams' account was just made public by the comic on the Club Sheesh podcast. He goes on in the broadcast to state that they came to him when Bernie passed away because they thought he should be one of the Edie Kings. However, Steve Harvey turned down Bernie Mac's request to join the Kings of Comedy tour due to his attitude. He regards Bernie Mac as a great man. "I was a friend of Bernie Mac's until the day he passed away," continued. Lover Steve Harvey reportedly contacted Bernie in an attempt to get him to take part in Ocean 11 and other projects, according to Cat Williams. "I think Bernie Mac said Steve Harvey hated on him. Bernie bluntly told me, as context take into account the following: Steve Harvey, I and 3 of his friends created history and were inducted into the Comedy Hall of Fame 20 years ago. While on a comedy tour known as the original Kings of Comedy, not only did the show smash records at the box office at the time, but it also established the standard for comedy shows in the contemporary period. The material utilized by D.L. Huey Cedric, the entertainer, and Bernie MC focused on Black American life in America and the divide between blacks and what every artist has a distinct style. Harvey's effortless transition to television can be attributed to his reputation as the smoothest performer of his era, but he got into the most intense argument with the audience when he singled out some people in the front row and criticized their looks, hairstyles, and future goals. If anything, Bernie Mac took the most direct route. In fact, some of his writings examine the scars of real life rather than just comedy, but judging from the way that Little Setback became a huge B, Steve Harvey was clearly jealous of Bernie Mac's approach, according to what one of the band members seems to have just revealed to the public. The internet is going crazy over this. There have long been rumors that Steve Harvey and the late Bernie Mac did not get along on the first Kings of Comedy tour. Members like Cedric the Entertainer are currently contesting these claims. The two comedians Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac, as well as D.L. Hooey, were not on the same page. According to Cedric, they were the kind of individuals that were both alpha males and just had different viewpoints on things, as you can see from my explanation. However, he said on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay, that they managed to get through it in the end, but it wasn't all there was to them. Bernie mimed in a 2003 interview with GQ magazine that Harvey was trying to put him in particular movies because he was jealous of him. Steve responded to Mac's accusations by saying he had been offended by Max's comments in a 2010 interview. Still, Damon Williams is one of many who endorsed Max's claims, even though Steve was allegedly unsuccessful in his quest to usurp Mac's stardom. It appears the comic man I have found success along these lines with Mark Curry. The comedian told the TMZ crew that although he had previously brought up the issue with Harvey, the joke stealing persisted. The cartoonist claimed that during their appearance on Steve and Kids Say the Darnest Things, Harvey shared his jokes with him. My thing with Steve Harvey is that he used my material on both of his platforms. Curry said to the TMZ crew, my finances are suffering because of you. You've been successful. Your life is wonderful. Cease utilizing my content. Mark said, I went up to talk to him after seeing him, and I said, baby, you using my material, taking money out of my pocket. You're extremely wealthy, and you made enough money. You don't have to take it from me. I said, but then he used it in his other show, The Kid Show. As it happened, Steve would have more run-ins with another publisher of comic books. Everything went awry when Williams chatted with Steve Harvey before a December 2008 Christmas show concerning the other persons involved. One would wonder Jamie Foxx first. A video of Williams attacking Steve Harvey was played by Fox, a radio host. At the time, William announced, I want to apologize for what's going to happen, implying that their mixed comedy show is about to begin. But I want you to know right now that this is going to be your last show as the Comedy King. As soon as you take the stage, water looks for its own surfaces to be on. You can't stop it, Playboy. That's exactly how the beast is. Now that you're ready, hope. Ollie, I hope you have a team of authors. You'll need about 6 or 7 of these. Harvey called after that to say he didn't understand it at all. I've always had a good relationship with Kat, as Harvey put it in an interview with Fox and Crew. I didn't know who he was back in Lee. You have to realize that I had no idea who he was while I was doing radio in Los Angeles. He had not been in any movies or other media, and he was not well known. I begged whoever Cat Williams is on the radio to phone me since I heard him talking about me in the clubs. Steve Harvey's battle with Monique revealed another facet of his true opportunistic nature. Yet his live argument with comedian Cat Williams is not the only one. Usually the person who receives the most attention is the one who is invited to come on a show. However, Monique seemed to be marginalized in a recent episode of Steve Harvey's program. Not only did the comedian steal the stage with her endearing charisma, but she also told the tale of how her candor cost her a job in comedy. But Steve Harvey wasn't the first person to receive criticism on television. She went on to mention a few more prominent figures in the field. The Oscar winner Monique talked about the incident that caused her to be shunned in Hollywood and given a bad reputation when she first appeared on an episode of Steve. The incident involves her asking for more money in exchange for participating in the Oscar promotion for the 2009 film Precious. When asked what she thought about running for the Oscars, Monique answered, I said no to some very powerful people. She made waves again in 2018 when she called for a boycott of Netflix because the streaming service wouldn't pay her the same amount for a stand-up special as it did for well-known comedians Amy Schumer and Chris Rock. Later, following the outcry over Netflix, Monique